It's interesting because I think Shakespeare sometimes is easier than doing something more modern, because when you get something more modern, it sort of just throws it in your face, you know? Everything is right there for you. Even the author a lot of times will put stage directions in there, and the modern way of speaking, people think that it speaks for itself, whereas Shakespeare is so poetic. There's so much verse and this beautiful language that you have to dissect every little bit of it in order to understand what you're saying. And once you finally are able to dissect everything that your character's saying, then it just becomes so clear exactly not only what they're saying, but what their subtext is, what they mean, why they're saying it. And a lot of times the things that people say aren't necessarily what they mean, you know? And it's just like with anybody else. I mean, Shakespeare was a brilliant writer. He not only captured this humanity and the way people actually are in real life, but he does it with such amazing words and poetry, and just the way it's all weaved together is just so beautiful.
When it came to the truth, I remembered much better that I am to be pitied of thee. Come, bring me to the bodies of my queen and son.
Nothing makes me happier than to hear it after you've gone through the whole process, to hear the actors saying these lines and to feel like I'm listening to this as if it were just a regular conversation on the street, because these actors are doing such a great job at, you know, giving us, you know, emoting, I guess, for lack of a better term, exactly what these characters want and feel. So. The biggest challenge in organizing a group of actors is just keeping them on task and getting them to rehearsal, making sure they stay on board for the show, getting them to you know, devote as much of their time as they can, because people get so busy, you know, especially in a group like this where it's basically community theater. I like to treat it more as if it were a professional environment, because that's just the way that I was trained. But, you know, people have jobs, people have school, people have so much that they have going on that it's the biggest challenge is just to get everybody there and finally be able to get everything solidified.
Who's gonna take the small bag? Don't all of you just... Austin, you could grab it, dude. If you're getting the big bag, you could...
Which is why everything comes together last minute during Tech Week, because we never really have every single person there until about that point, and so that's the time when you really have to get everything molded together. So
when they come out and they're finishing up their bow, you're going up the center as they're finishing up and people are cheering. And just go run up on the front thrust, turn around.
There are lots of challenges, though. I could probably go on, but I don't know. I can just leave it at that.
Thanks.
Was capable of being a serial killer. Gemini
Hold on. No. Here's my stuff.
Thou art a failure.
Well, typically the first thing I notice is just how they speak in general, just the kind of person that they are. Sometimes I just prefer to have a conversation with them, because then you can kind of get a gist of the type of person that someone is, you know, and usually that will give you an indication as to which character they might be able to portray. And then we always do a side reading, so we bring in, you know, parts of the script that they can then read from, and I like to just hear them do it at least once, and then if they do it well, then I'll have them read again. And you know, typically I hope for the best. I'm probably more nervous during an audition than the people who are auditioning are, because you always want to have those people that are, you know, gonna give you something that you're impressed by, and you know that you can actually cast your show.
Here's a little direction on anybody who's playing either Mopsar or Dorcas in the next couple scenes that we do. You have permission to be all over him, okay? I mean, Jenny is Josh's wife, and she doesn't care, right?
I think my favorite thing about directing a play is seeing where it goes from the very beginning, you know, from auditions to the read-through where everybody's sitting around a table reading, you know, sometimes with Shakespeare struggling with the language a little bit, trying to comprehend what's going on.
Nor shall she within my power.
You shall not pass.
This is
Enter Paulina. Scene 9B. Go ahead. You can go ahead and do that again.
Shall not pass with the actual.
Well, we'll say the actual line.
Okay.
yeah. In the end, we will. Yeah.
You must not.
And then just watching it evolve and actually helping these actors, you know, do a better job and understand what they're doing, why they're doing it, what they're saying and everything. And then seeing it blossom in the end.
Him not to stay. You, sir, charge him too cold.
Well said.
Tell him you are sure all in Bohemia as well.
Well said.
To tell he longs to see his son were strong. But let him say so then, and let him go. But let him swear so, and he shall not go. We'll thwack him hence with distaffs.
And just realizing, wow, you know, we took words, 400-year-old words on a page, and this is what we got, you know, and this is what we created out of this. To me, there's no greater piece of art or anything more rewarding, you know, as an artist than to create a production of this magnitude from words on a page and a bunch of devoted people, students and veterans alike.
Oh, you're a mean old man! There's a sense of your youth forgiving you. You're well to live. Gold! Gold! Oh, gold.
Very cold, boy, not to approve it, so.
My favorite role as an actor would have to have been playing Hamlet when I was 19. That was the first thing that made me realize that I can do nothing else but this, you know, for the rest of my life. That I have to keep this in my life. No matter what I do, I need to be involved in the theater because Hamlet's the epitome of all great roles, and I'll never forget that as long as I live. So
this is an art, which men's nature changes it rather, but the art itself is nature.
So it is.
personally, me, I'm actually considering taking the year off from directing next year just because I've done it so many years in a row now. I'm thinking might want to take a break and hand the torch off to someone else next year, just to see if somebody else wants to have the opportunity to do it. I know that it's something other people have mentioned before, so I wouldn't mind doing that. But I do have plans in a couple of years to do King Lear, I hope, because that's one of my favorite Shakespeare productions, and it would be a monumental task. I think I'd need a year to prepare for something like that anyway, but that's my next thought anyway, as far as a play that I want to do.
Okay, that's it.
Is that good?
Yeah.
That work?